So I wanted to start us off with just a quick intuitive exercise, and this is something that if you were in my political philosophy class last spring, I think I may have done it in a class you've probably seen before. But let me just do a quick intuitive exercise so we can think about distributive justice and think about what we ourselves intuitively, unreflectively, we haven't covered Rawls yet, what we would consider to be a just distribution of resources. Okay, so let me ask you to imagine with me. Um, this is the second point of the lecture. We're doing exercise in distributive justice. I want you to imagine with me a roommate lottery. And I know it is hard to imagine in times of plague. The dorms are open right now on campus, right? Yeah? Are they like fully populated right now? Okay. So maybe those of us who live on campus can easily imagine this. The rest of you will just have to follow along. Imagine a roommate lottery with three different kinds of possible scenarios. When I was going off to college as a freshman, I was given a little card. I was supposed to return it in the mail, and I checked clean, quiet day person, and I got a clean, quiet day person. It was a wonderful roommate. We're friends to this day. They put us on a floor with 40 football players. Not clean, quiet day people at all. And so there, Marvin and I, these quiet, scared little freshmen, we hung out on the floor full of football players, locked up in our rooms half the time. Okay, imagine though, three roommate scenarios. Scenario one, you get maybe a 7 in 10 chance of a great roommate. And maybe a 3 in 10 chance of a horrible roommate. And I can describe what I mean by great and horrible in a minute. And maybe a 0 in 10 chance of a so-so roommate. Okay, and in scenario 2, you maybe get a 4 in 10 chance of a great roommate. Maybe a 2 in 10 chance of a horrible roommate. And maybe a 4 in 10 chance of a so-so roommate. And let's say in the third scenario, you get 0 out of 10 chance of a great roommate, 0 out of 10 chance of a horrible roommate, and 10 out of 10 chance of a so-so roommate. And let me describe what I mean by great, so-so, and horrible. A great roommate, lifelong friend. You and this person share interests in common. You guys go everywhere. You study together. You go for late night runs to the burrito shop together, right? You guys go on vacay over spring break together. You love each other's company. This person becomes a lifelong friend. Horrible roommate, it's really bad, okay? Not only is this person like horribly messy, not only does this person use your clothing, not only does this person use your toothbrush, I don't know, maybe you even get exiled, okay? And have to spend the night elsewhere. All right, so-so, you know, you just kind of live alongside each other. There's not much interaction there, but you know, this person's not necessarily getting in your way or anything. You just happen to be there alongside each other, but no relational connection. Okay, now let's see what people's intuitions are about which kind of a scenario you would like most. Okay, so we have here this scenario, scenario 1, scenario 2, and scenario 3. How many takers would I have for scenario 1? 7 in 10 chance of a great roommate, 3 in 10 of a horrible roommate. Only one? 2 takers? 2 takers? This would be the one I would choose, actually. I would choose this one. What about this one right here? How many takers do I have for the second scenario? One. One taker. Split the difference. Okay. And how many would I have for this third scenario? Okay, 3. Did you vote, Cameron?
I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
Are these scenarios like maximal in the sense of like, oh, the so-so friend will stay so-so forever? Like neutral, so it's like it seems like you could.
People don't change throughout most of their lives, morally speaking. What they are in their 20s tends to be what they are in their 60s.
Okay, so then I guess I would choose one.
You'd choose 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so people who chose 1, defend your position. I think I've got 3 takers. So those of you who chose 1, why?
I just feel like, I feel like 70%
That's my reasoning, man. It's like 70% chance of winning.
how often is it that you're gonna, like how probable is it that you're gonna get the
Yeah. See, that's precisely my reasoning is, you can win or you can be host, but like the odds are best for winning on scenario 1, even if the downside is really bad. Cameron?
I agree with number 1, but I disagree with the reasoning that you all give.
Oh, okay.
It seems to me that you have better odds on option 2, because if getting a bad roommate is losing, then technically you have an 80% chance of getting a better than bad roommate on number 2. Because even if you do end up getting a so-so roommate, that's still a win in the sense that you're not losing. So it seems to me if you want to go purely based off percentages, rather than argue and say, well, it's also better to have the great roommate than the so-so roommate, because even if it's lower percentages, you do get that and disadvantage about like having a so-so. Then that would make more sense, but it seems purely based off percentages, then number 2 would be the choice.
That's a terrific comment, man. That's a great comment. I guess it all depends on how you see life and whether you're a risk taker or not a risk taker. Like, is winning a job where you can make as your yearly salary $1 million a year, or is winning not having a job where you make as your yearly salary $20K a year? Right? Is winning doing really well in life, or is winning not doing really badly in life? How many did I have? I had 3 takers for the third scenario. Okay, my insurance purchasers, cautious people that you are, going through life, continually hedging your bets, never taking risks. Why? Why did you choose 3? I think I had 3 people who chose that. Yeah. Okay. Better than bad, and you're okay with that? Okay. All right. And you're okay with, just like an average salary and average market returns and, like average intelligence? That's cool. And no? Okay. Just in this scenario. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Good. Um, does this go for all of the people who chose 3? Is that the reasoning here? Okay. Let me switch this up. Suppose it's not a roommate lottery. Suppose it's a hospital lottery. Some of us are commuters. Maybe on your way home after HBU, you're in a wreck out there on the freeway. And they use the jaws of life and they have to care flight you to a hospital. But before they care flight you to a hospital, they think real quickly and they check your insurance card and they say, well, find one that's in network. Okay. A 7 in 10 chance of getting a great hospital, 3 in 10 chance of getting a horrible hospital. And let me just define what our chances are here. 7 in 10, you're out within 2 weeks. Okay, no long-term consequences. no serious issues. 3 in 10 chance. You're in for 9 months and you walk with a limp for the next 5 years. And maybe also you're confused in your thinking for the next year or two. You have bouts where you're not quite sure what's going on. Okay, and there are a lot of bills too, lots of hospital bills. And we'll define a so-so experience at the hospital as we'll say it's 4 months, 4 month stay, and you got a good deal of bills, but no limp, and you don't have to worry about being muddled in your thinking as you try to navigate life's contingencies for the next few years. Okay, so now let me see how many of us would choose one. How many of us would gamble on our hospital stay? Raise your hand if you would choose one. You and me, man, we're the only ones who are like gamblers all the way. Let me go to 3. How many of us would choose this? Yes? Only Cameron? Okay, and so does that mean, raise your hand, let's confirm it. The rest of us would choose 2? Okay, majority. Why would you guys choose 2? And why the difference? Because some of us changed our votes when it came to hospitals. You don't want to gamble with your health, but you're willing to gamble with a roommate. Okay, all right. So let me put that in different words for you. The hospital choice is for you a more serious substantive life choice than the roommate choice. And when it comes to more serious matters, you're less willing to gamble. Interesting. Is that true for most of us? Did most of us become more cautious the more serious the decision became? Who was my taker? Yeah. What's your reasoning, man? Dude, that's where I am too. That's totally where I am all the way. It's like, yeah, like you could be hosed, but you probably won't be. I got a 7 in 10 chance. Really? Right? Yeah, it's like crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And the doctor didn't even see me and they charged me 4,000. Sure, sure. So you're primarily driven by finances here. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. uh, guys, indulge me for just 1 minute. I know we're at time, but let me do this real quickly. Suppose it's the lottery of life. None of us can choose the family or socioeconomic circumstances we are born into. It happens to us. And you know what? It has an enormous influence on how our lives turn out. It is probably the single most influential thing on how our lives turn out, the circumstances into which we are born. Some of us are born into great family situations. Parents are involved in your education, very loving relationships. They've got lots of money to fund your education. Okay? Horrible circumstances. Others of us, maybe the parents have addictions, alcohol, drugs. Maybe you get beat up, abused. So-so situations. I don't know. The parents just kind of park you in front of the TV most of the time. They just don't parent. It's just like, let the show parent the kid, and they don't really shell out much money for your education. I mean, it's not like they're going to, occasionally slap you around or beat you or something, but they just don't care that much about you. So now let's see what happens. How many of us would choose 1? I would. I would totally choose 1. And let's go all the way here. How many of us would choose 3? Anybody? No one wants to just kind of be parked in front of a TV? Okay. You're okay with being parked in front of a TV for your childhood?
Well, that's not how I look at it myself. So
Okay.
pretty much so overrated. Some of them are great light. Like having an extremely great light, you learn from your own mistakes.
Yeah.
You have a great life, you have
Yeah.
your parents to be able to like support you and stuff. It's also like you learn
Yeah.
from mistakes.
Okay. Okay. Good. Powerful. And again, I think the majority is here. Most of us would go for 2. Those of you who are in the middle, why? Takers at number 2. Somebody want to defend that? Okay. Okay. I would probably suggest that you don't ever play the stock market then. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting actually the votes to increase. The more important, like it became real important now, right? This is probably the most important of the distributions. And I wasn't quite expecting more people to vote for this, but I would totally do this all the way, all 3 of them. Oh yeah, but if you look at the stats, the overwhelming majority of people end up in the same socioeconomic circumstances that they were born into. The idea of mobility, it does happen for a tiny number of people, but for most it is an illusion. It is an illusion. Okay, thanks for your attention today. Let me just summarize this real fast. Rawls is trying to solve the problem of just distribution. And as we're going to find out next time, I guess on Monday, Rawls thinks that the majority of us humans are going to want something like this. 3. Okay? A couple of you guys joined me in advocating this kind of a situation, but Rawls thinks that the majority of humans will have intuitions for a society where resources are distributed very equally across people, where there's fairness in the way resources are distributed, where some don't turn out to win and others lose, but where all have an equal chance at getting, the same kinds of resources. We'll talk a little bit more about that next time and about the implications for justice of that view.